Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Political Brown Kid here, and I'm looking at some videos. This is two videos. They're two separate videos. One video was made 3 years ago, so I'm assuming that was what 2021. And that's this clip with her by herself. When you see her by herself, that was the one from 3 years ago. And she's talking about her dating, the dating scene in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then she has another more recent video that was made about in 2024, early 2024, where she has a friend of hers on the show and they're kind of talking together. So we're going to take a look at these videos and then I'm just going to kind of break them down.
Never like going back to like the standards. If you have some sort of standards about you, then you're just too much. I was actually like talking to someone last year or whatever, and all of that or whatever. And I mean, I guess you could say, like, he wasn't, like, my boyfriend, but we were, like, you know, like, going out and stuff like that. And I asked him, I said, this was, like, in the very beginning. But I was like, oh, my God. Like, I was like, I don't understand. I said, it's so weird to me. I was like, because people, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, like, people are always like, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, my God, you're so smart. You're so ambitious. Like, oh, my God, like, how are you single? And I looked at him and I was like, I was just telling him that. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, and I see someone else, and not knocking anyone, because I'm all for like women empowerment, and that's what I'm here for. And I'm not here to bring down another woman or anything like that. But like, I see people that, you know, like I went to college or whatever, and I'm like on my like boss up ambition. I see myself being here. I'm a hard worker, those type of things. And I'm a nice person. And I see someone who may not be any of those things, but like they have a boyfriend, or they're like getting engaged, or they are engaged or whatever, on their way to marriage or whatever the case may be. And then he looks at me and he answers. He goes, this is what he said. He says, you want to know why they have a boyfriend and you don't? I said, yeah, I really do. He says, they have a boyfriend and you don't because they are taking care of these men. They are doing things for these men that you're not about to do. And the reason why you're not going to do that is because you're pretty. So the things that they're doing for a man, you can have a man doing for you. That's why. So yeah, it's crazy because like if you have standards, and it's not even like being like extra or nothing like that. Like you don't, I'm not saying like, you know, like you have to, like I'm not even saying like I'm extra or like non-realistic, but it's just like having regular standards of like just how a person in general should be treated. If you just have that, they're just not here for you. It's weird. I don't know. But anyways, let's go on to the next one. So
I feel like my experiences have been very hard because I'm a very attractive woman. I make great money. You know, I have come from a good family. I have a good personality. I can do all the things that every desirable man would want. But I feel like the dating field has been so hard because one, people don't value courting and getting to know people. Two, sex is very easy and affluent. It's easy to get. It's like exchanging Cash App numbers. It's like exchanging Instagrams. It comes automatically. And three, people do not see the purpose and intent behind marriage and the value and what it really could be. Come from a two-parent household, being both parents are married, grandparents are married, everything, right? So I feel like that's the goal that I have. But I feel like society norms have shifted to where that's not the everyday norm. And it makes it harder for women like me to want to be able to get into a relationship with a man that is really intentionally for me and has a desire in my heart that I would want to connect to and create a household and a marriage.
And it makes me like sad sometimes because I'm like,
for sure,
girl, you're pretty. Girl, you got this going for you. Like, You don't have to settle. And for me or whatever, everybody always like, oh my God, I can't believe you're single. Or whatever.
They love saying that.
But I'm like, because I don't want to settle. And I'm honestly, where I'm at with everything is I don't even want to date here anymore.
Okay, so what I did was that's the reason why I told y'all which video was from 3 years ago and which video was from 3 months ago. And of course, the video with just her in it by herself that's the one that's older, from 2021 or around that time approximately. And then the one with her and her friend is from 2024 or 2023, somewhere around that time as well. The reason why I melded those two together because the topics are the same. In both of those clips, just like I just did another video with another female. In that video, that other female did the same thing. If you notice, they always say, Yeah, I was talking to this friend of mine, and notice she said, you know, me and him we go out, we was doing out and going out or whatever. She said it real fast because basically she didn't say, yes, I met this guy, we were dating, and we were dating for a while. She was not, she did not have the conviction in her voice that was like, yes, I was dating this guy, and he and I were dating, and blah, blah, blah. She was basically in a situationship, and she knew that this guy was just basically her cuddle buddy. Because she's just basically, if you listen to, I'm talking about this woman, I forget her name, whatever channel this is, according to the Queen, she's talking real fast, like, oh, you know, it was the situation was kind of cloudy with her. She was unsure of the relationship status. So basically, this was just some dude that she was, you know, hooking up with. Once again, so she's just hooking up. Like I told y'all, they claim that dating is such trash, but yet they still out there getting it in. They still busting it down. I'm not making this up. But getting back to the point, the lady, according to the Queen, when she was in the video by herself, she's like, I'm talking to this guy, and we was, you know, doing whatever. Of course, you know what that means. It was just some dude she was hooking up with. And then she says, he says, yeah, you're so beautiful, and you know you're so fine, and men know that you're so driven. It's all of these accolades. Like, no one has, like, when women talk about themselves, there's not one flaw that they mention. They don't even mention not one single flaw. It's like, I have my stuff together. I'm a boss. I'm trying to boss up, level up, and I'm fly, and I know I'm the finest thing in the club. Really? And then she basically says that this dude even co-signs for her. Yeah, you're so beautiful. And those other women have a man because they're basically taking care of that man. And you don't need to do that because all the stuff that those women are doing for that man, he should be doing for you. It's just one reason why she's probably, no shot at her, but this is just my assumption and my opinion. If you're that beautiful, if you're that pretty, but yet, and if you look at the same video, and that's the reason why I put these two content together, because they both stated that people in Charlotte get married young. They both said it. They said people in their 20s get married. They said, so basically all of the people who are marriage-minded get married. And obviously y'all two have not been marriage-minded. And if you are kind of marriage-minded, then you're made some bad choices in the guys that you selected. Because once again, even the friend that came onto the show, she's like, I know I'm pretty. I know I'm pretty. I got a nice behavior and I got a great job. And so it's all of these stuff that comes up. And so what I'm going to assume, because once again, too, they talk about standards in this video as well, and I'm going to revisit that. Then they start talking about these standards. And so obviously these women think that they're not average looking. I don't think the average women exist in the world anymore, fellas. I don't think that they do. I think all women are 8s and above, and we are just not stacking up to them. I think all women look like and are built like Tiana Taylor. They all look like Tiana Taylor or Tika Sumpter. They all do. And we're just out here, fellas. We're out here looking like Sherman Klump from Dr. What was Eddie Murphy? The Nutty Professor. Before he transformed into Buddy Love. And so the women just, they're like my standards. And I think that and this goes back to what I did with the previous video. When women talk about not changing their standards, I think that they're not changing their standards in terms of looks. Once again, I think that women are saying, no, we still want a guy that's fine. We still want a guy he has to have 6-pack abs and a buffed out chest and chiseled arms. I settle for nothing less. But yet these women are not in shape. They are not. These two women right here, they're in decent shape. But I mean, I can look at the one on the right when they're both in the frame together. She's in decent shape, but she's not in the best. You can look and kind of tell her midsection is out. And once again, this is not a shot to her. I'm not being disrespectful, so y'all don't take it that way, because I have a midsection. But what I'm saying is that I think a lot of people will get elevated and they'll say, I guarantee you these women will break their standards for a guy. You know, they'll be like, okay, as long as he has a decent job and he's working, you know, I'll date him if he's not making as much money as I want him to make. I'll date him as his attitude isn't really what I want him to be. He's not emotionally intelligent. I don't know why women want emotionally intelligent men. We're not out there like that. They'll break their standards for all of that. But then when it comes to looks, when it comes to height, and height is included in looks, but when it comes to appearance, the woman is not going to break her standard because that's the thing that gives her the tickles, her tingles. She's not going to break that. And once again, too, that's why I say black men and black women having a hard time finding each other because the educated blacks, because once you get these degrees, we all know we're not in construction jobs where you can burn calories. So when you work construction, you burning calories. You lifting weights basically on your job. You lifting cinder blocks. You standing outside in the heat. You might as well be, that's like your sauna. So you in the sauna for 8 hours a day, standing outside in the heat, drinking a bunch of water. You're getting your water in and you're doing a bunch of walking. So you're getting your steps in, you're getting your sauna in, and you're lifting cinder blocks. So you're getting in your bench pressing and your triceps and biceps all in one exercise. Your job, if you work out 40 hours a week, whereas the rest of us that have degrees, we're sitting down. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just pointing out an example of when you look at people that are professional people, they're a little bit on the chunkier side. Most of them are. And I'll admit that I fall into that category. And so when black women look at us, they're like, ew. So the only other choice that they have is to go to the gangster dudes or the dudes that's not doing anything. And vice versa. When we look at black women, we're like, ew, she big. Ew, shorty tall. Listen, since I've been back on the dating market, when I was younger, I used to run into women that were 5'5". That's my speed right there. That's my zone, 5'5", 5'5", 5'3". That's my zone. Petite little shorties. Now, every woman I run into is 5'8", 5'11", 6 feet, 5'8", 5. It's like, wow, these women, and then when they throw the heels on, when you 5'7", you throw heels on, I mean, you taller than me, I guess. I don't know, or almost as tall as me. So what I'm saying is this, is that educated black people, we're not mixing and gelling with one another all like that. We're just not. So let's continue and watch and hear the rest of this. But I just find it curious that they admit that people in Charlotte are getting married, but these two aren't married, but yet they're so beautiful. Let's go. Let's continue.
Number with no intention of taking you out. I think we have to end up being together or whatever the case may be. I just feel like it's really crazy for a guy, just in general, to ask for your number with no intention of taking you out. I just think that's crazy. Because what do you need my number for, sir? Sir, what do you need my number for? If you're not about to take me out, I don't have time to waste. I don't have time for it. I'm trying to build empires and boss all the way up.
It's like, whatever happened to dates? Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like people don't ask me out on dates because they do.
Yes.
But it's just like, that's standard. But I feel like since I've been living in Charlotte, it's not so standard. But I feel like when I meet certain people, they already know, okay, like if I want to talk to her, if I want the time of the day, I have to take her on a date. But it's not like they're, like overall as a city, that's the expectation. And it's weird to me, and I don't understand. It's crazy because I used to live in Miami, and people think that Miami's horrible for dating, but it was actually better than Charlotte, which blows my mind. So what do you think?
I feel like the culture has shifted from dates to Netflix and chill. Like, when you first meet somebody, I feel like they're already ready for you to come to the house. Hey, you want to come to the house?
To your house, you might kill me.
That's what I'm saying, because I'm never coming to the house.
I don't even know you yet.
I don't know you. I don't know your last name. I don't know your cousin. I don't know who your family is, what kind of cloth you come from. Like, what is that about? So for me, I am a strictly, you need to date me and court me properly for us to get to know each other, figure out our values, our love languages, what type of woman are you before I'm coming to the crib to do Netflix and chill. And I feel like the culture has shifted to a Netflix and chill generation and culture to where
people are accepting these Netflix and chill dates to where it's trying to make it to where everybody should accept that and not date.
Netflix and chill isn't even, to me, a date.
It's not.
Until you're actually with your person.
In a relationship.
Yeah, like I feel like if you're in a relationship with somebody, then you can make that cute and make it a date.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just trying to get to know somebody, you just meet them, that is not a date.
It's not a date.
It's so irritating. And I feel like
it's free. I don't know letting people in your homes to do the Netflix and chill. So like, y'all, this is the thing. Dating does not have to be expensive. You could do ice cream dates, going to the park, but like a date, I feel like is important to get to know somebody, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so once again, I kind of put the two clips together just to kind of show you, because these are similar topics that I want to cover at the same time. So I'm gonna address the one where she's by herself first, where she's saying basically she's not going to give her number out unless, you know, the guy's interested in, I guess, going out or doing this, that, and the third. And then she's basically like, I don't have time for that. I'm trying to boss up, level up. And she's kind of mentioned that before in the video. I cut out the other stuff because I'm trying to keep these videos relatively short. But here's the thing. So that's also another term. Like so then she's talking about bossing up, leveling up, and, you know, and she's mentioned that in some clips that I've taken out. That's also, and this is just my opinion, this is possibly also too why she's single. And I'm not trying to say it's because of it. Well, it is. It's a double-edged sword. It's because of her ambition that she's single. And I'm not trying to say she shouldn't have ambition, but it's if she's that focused, and she was talking earlier too about another clip where she's talking about she's trying to have couple goals where they can, be, what are they trying to build an empire? You know, these are all these buzzwords that I hate hearing people use in the 2000s. You know, couples goals, building empires, and bossing and leveling up, and all of this other stuff. I do have ambition. You know, I know people are like, well, what's wrong with having ambition? I have ambition. I just don't use these jargon terms. But the unfortunate part for women is when women have these ambitions, once again, you want somebody who's just as ambitious, if not more ambitious, and just as successful, if not more successful. So this is just another layer in a million other qualification standards that you have. Like for men are relatively simple. We're like, our standards for whether we're going to date a woman or not is, how is she fine? And you know what I mean by that is her appearance. If her appearance is fine, like, okay, I can work with this, you know. And like I said, when I say fine, y'all, I'm not trying to talk about 8s, 9s, and 10s. A 5 is fine. That's average. So if she's a 5 and above, a man is like, oh yeah, I can work with this. Now let me see. Is she nice? Does she have a good attitude? Did she show up for the date on time? Is she coming with a lot of complaining? Is she complaining about what kind of car I'm riding in? If she's cooperative and amicable, and she's going with the flow, oh, that's another check. So we got looks. Is she cooperative or friendly? And when I say looks, I'm throwing in, you know, the whole package, her physique and her face. And then we're looking at your mentality, your mind state. You know, does she, you know, is she somebody that I can talk to, and, you know, we kind of share similar values, or and where we don't share similar values, we can respect, each other's differences. Because, and I'm using it as a prime example, I forget the guy, Carville. He usually used to come on Bill Maher's show. He's a Democratic strategist, right? A political strategist. His wife is a Republican political strategist. So I'm pretty sure they both have different political views, but they don't let that stop them from getting together and dating. That's like, I'm telling you, I see on a lot of women's profiles, they'll tell you, if you're a Trump supporter, don't talk to me. Or if you're this, so why be that divisive? Is it that divisive where you're going to let politics divide your relationship with the person if you like that person, and you and that person can just kind of respectfully agree to disagree? What if the person is into religion? Are you going to have the same deal breakers there? So I just kind of wanted to look at it from that particular perspective, because when you start mentioning that you're a boss and that you don't have time to give out your number, well, how is he supposed to contact you, miss? and then also too, and it seems like you don't only want to deal with him unless he's taking you out to someplace that's fun. So once again, when you look at the clip, when both of them are together, they're talking about dating and that they're trying to say that one of the negatives of dating in Charlotte is that people don't want to go out on dates. Well, here's the definition of the word date. If you go to Webster's dictionary, the definition of the word date is a social or romantic appointment or engagement. Like you can hear some people say, well, I have a date and I'm going out with my sorors. You're not going to hear guys say, I'm going out on a date, I'm going out with my frat brothers, or I'm going out with the bro. They're not going to say that. But women can say, yeah, I'm going out on, I got a dinner date with my, family or something like that. That would be a social, appointment or engagement. And then you have your romantic appointments or engagements, right? So that's what a date is. It's basically two people meeting up, either socially or romantically. Now, I'm assuming when you just meet someone, that it's kind of like a hybrid. It's kind of like a social / possibly romantic. It's possibly a hybrid, but the very first date is probably going to be socially to see if we even click and see how we are. So my question is this. And I'm not trying to say I would Netflix and chill with somebody on a first date, but if the opportunity struck itself, I would. It depends upon how things are flowing in the conversation. If the first date y'all hit it off, or it depends upon how you meet this person. If you meet this person one day and y'all just hit it off at some, I don't know, maybe y'all met at a house party at a friend's gathering and, y'all talked on the phone a couple of times and y'all felt real comfortable. I don't see what the problem is meeting up over each other's house, because by definition, that is a date. It's a social appointment or engagement. You're engaging one another. And so whether you do that in a person's house, you Netflix and chilling and eating a little dinner and just watching television, that's kind of like, basically, that's really like going to the movies. It's just a private movie. Now, with the way people have been getting eliminated in this world, I know y'all like to use deleted. You just heard about the female in Wisconsin. Of course, once again, they'll break the standards. You hear these females talk about how they wouldn't go over a man's house, but you just had a black female go over a white guy's house on the very first date. They'll do it for white guys, but I'll take that off the table and I'll backtrack and but y'all saw my other videos that I brought that up before. What kind of date? She says that it has to be a quality date. And then the other female says, well, it can just be to an ice cream parlor. Well, make your mind up. Because from what us guys are seeing online is that we're saying, you guys, you're too good for, what's that place? Cheesecake Factory. You're too good for Olive Garden. You're too good for this. You hear other women talk about, girl, don't go out on no coffee date. So you're shooting down all of these potential other types of dates. And it seems like y'all only want to go on dates that cost men an exorbitant amount of money. And if it's a social engagement and if you're there to meet the guy, number one, why aren't you going on for your very first date? Why aren't you going Dutch? Why aren't you saying, okay, the first date, I don't even know if we like each other. This is just a feel out. So, if you want to go someplace expensive, I'm going to pay for my meal. You're going to pay for yours. Now, if we want to go someplace more budget friendly, where I got you. Because once again, and I've stated in a few of my other videos, and I'm going to state it here again, is that men feel financially used. Women feel sexually used. Women are always talking about how a man is objectifying them. He's sexualizing me. Well, women always, they just use us, right? We get used, whether it's for passwords to our particular Netflix account so they can watch TV for free while we support their cable and entertainment habits. When they get to watch TV on our dime, they want their rent paid. They want free dinners. They want free entertainment. They just want fun. And then they leave and go back with whomever their side dude is. And they go and they have a good time with him because all of these women have one. All of the women have one. So when a guy hears, go out, take me out on a date, what he's hearing is, I got to spend more money. And this probably isn't even going to stick. I've been on 6 dates this month. I spent $200 on each date. I'm down $1,200, and now this one wants to go out. I don't even know she wants to be around. So that's why guys are scaling back on dates. Just like women are scaling back on having intimate encounters with guys, men are scaling back on having financial, putting out financially for women. Listen, the reason why, I'm just going to say that what she's saying is correct, because I can't take away from her experience. I can't say that her experience is totally false when she says that, guys have stopped courting women and they're just Netflix and chilling because that's what women are accepting. So I'll say this, and again, I'm not in the Charlotte area, so maybe my opinion is off on this. But if the guy, I can guarantee you that there are guys, and they're probably average-looking guys. Once again, they're probably average-looking guys that these women don't want anything to do with. They don't even know these guys exist. They walk past them 35 times, going to and from work, going to and from the grocery store, going to and from in the neighborhood, wherever. But the guys, they don't like the guy for whatever reason. I don't know what the reasons are, but her standards are her standards. They keep mentioning about these standards. But I guarantee you, for Idris Elba and Shemar Moore, I can guarantee you, for those two dudes, these women are Netflixing and chilling. And not only are these women Netflixing and chilling, but Shemar Moore and Idris Elba, this has been a proven scientific fact. I've done videos on this where I had the guy, I forget his name, but go check my archive, where the guy talked about how all of the women on dating apps, or women period, pursue only the top 10% of men. And the men pursue the top 50 or 70% of women. So men will pursue more. We find more women far more attractive. Women are like, we only want these guys right here. We only want Shemar Moore, Idris Elba. Those are the only two guys we want. And so all 20 of them are banging the same dude. And so when Shemar Moore and Idris Elba have that option, and when he doesn't have to take a woman out on date, why would you spend money? That doesn't even make sense. That's smart. That's a smart man. It's a smart man. If a smart man can say, well, hey, these women are willing to come back over to my house and just hang out and chill and, do what we do. Y'all know what that means. If they're willing to just do that, why am I going to ask somebody? Why am I going to ask somebody to go out and spend money on a steak or whatever kind of meat? I don't know what restaurants are in Charlotte, but why am I going to spend $200 on a meal or $400 or even $100 when I can have them over here for free? I got food at my house. I don't even have to leave my house. So once again, I can guarantee you that there are plenty of guys that are willing to go out on dates. They just don't know those guys exist because they don't care to know that those guys exist. Let's continue.
Have anything else you'd like to add to that, Mariah?
I would like to add that I'm from Charlotte, born and raised. Two of my best friends are married, and they met their husbands in college. So if you ain't meet your husband in college,
That's how I've been feeling lately.
it's really hard to happen, to be honest. I'm not
That's how I've been feeling lately.
Like the good crop here in Charlotte. If you're not from here and you haven't met your husband in college or met through a good friend, then it's really hard to find unless they coming from somewhere else to here. It's hard. So it's not like how it used to be with our parents. They met our parents, or people met. We met at the jazz club or at the punch room at the but no, it's just not the same. It's not really the same. Let's be honest here. Not even gonna lie to you.
So once again, as you can see, she says, and this is the Charlotte native that's talking, she's saying that most of the people get married when they're in college. And so for these two females who look like they're in their 40s or 30s or 40s, why didn't y'all get married? When you were in college, or if they went to college, I don't know if they went to college, and I'm not pointing a finger at them. I'm not doing that. All I'm doing is just asking the big question. Obviously, if men are marrying, then there are people out there that are willing to marry. So obviously, so at some point in time, you have to say, well, maybe you weren't in the right place at the right time to meet these men. That's one possibility. It's another possibility that you rejected these men It's another possibility that maybe y'all wouldn't have been a fit. So that's also a possibility. And it's just also a fit too that, maybe it's something about your personality and where you are that, you're going to be a hard match. And when I say like, what I mean by that is when you have standards, and like once you start hearing a woman start talking about I have standards, usually those are the women that are being very difficult. Usually it is. And I'm being honest with you. I'm just being honest. I know women that don't talk like that. I'm being honest with you. I know women that don't talk like that. They refuse to talk like that. They be like, I ain't in that crowd. And those are the women that stay in steady relationships. They're in steady relationships. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said, there are plenty of guys out there that want to be in steady relationships. But you got women that play games. They play a lot of games. And that's the thing that a lot of women don't want to talk about that. Women are always, matter of fact, they just mentioned it. Like I told you, they mentioned it in the previous video. It's like, well, it's in the clip, but they played it earlier. Girl, don't settle down. If you meet a man, wait until you see his friends because you don't want to pick the wrong one. You may click better with his friend. Oh my God, like really? So basically, you might as well say, I need to see every man that's living in this area. I need to see every single man in whatever city you're in. And then I need to see them all before I commit to one guy. That's basically what you're saying. Sometimes you have to say, I found something, I found it. And I always go back to real estate. So I'm going to equate this with real estate. If you see a house that you like, if you walk into that house, because a lot of times, like if you ever bought real estate, when you walk into a house, sometimes you just know. It just hits you. It's almost like dealing with a woman or a man. Like, dang it, this is it. When you walk in that house or you see that house and you go to that neighborhood, because a lot of times you can look at a house online and the pictures always look nice. And then once you start driving to the neighborhood, you're like, I don't like the neighborhood. It's got a train, railroad tracks behind the house, or planes flying over, or I don't like the area, or I thought the neighborhood was better, or the house looked better online. I don't really like the way the house looked. But if you get to a house and everything's right, like, oh man, the neighborhood's nice, the house is nice, I like this house. Why are you going to go around and say, okay, well, especially if it's a hot market. If it's a hot market, you don't have time, not unless you can go to 30 other houses that same day and run your realtor crazy. And y'all can get into 30 houses in one day so you can say, okay, before I put this contract in, we need to see these other 30. Why are you going to wait around to say, I need to see more houses first and then I'll come back to this one if it's still available? It's not going to be available. It's not. And that's the same way you treat these men. If you're going to say, okay, well, I met his homeboy. I met you. I need to see all your homeboys because before I settle on you, I may click better with your home. That wouldn't even look right. Like, how would that even work anyway? Like, you're going to hook up with his homeboy and tell him what? I don't understand it. But I just kind of wanted to look at this video once again because like she said, as you can see at the conclusion video, she said the people in Charlotte get married young. She said that most of them met their men in college or through friends. These two women still have not met a man. So that's all I just wanted to say about this. I just kind of wanted to make this video so y'all can kind of be the judge on it. But this is the Political Brown Kid. Definitely leave your comments in the comment section. Also hit the like and subscribe. I'm out of here.